Hi there, my name is James Darby, and this is my next video vlog for my Western Literature class project. This week, I will be talking about a book that we are reading called The Round House. And for this book, I'm going to directly relate everything that I have learned so far from it to the theme that we have been studying in class, we're reading about in class, the theme of invisibility. And so, well, first off, I just want to talk about a theme that I read in this book that was presented to me through some research, and I thought it was really interesting. First off, the theme that a lot of people generate from this book is, of course, how women are treated in the Native American world or in the Native American society, and just, in America in general. And that's especially evident in the way that so far, because I haven't read all the way through it, but right now, like, they're struggling trying to get this case, trying to get the person convicted for this case and being charged. Right now, it depends on where their land is at, or where the crime was occurred, or where the crime had been committed. And so, yeah, how women are treated in the Native American world, that's a very prevalent theme. We can definitely see that too in the acts with like Sonia and stuff, or Sanja or whatever. And so what I want to talk about for what I found out about this is that how it relates to invisibility, and it does this through this coming of age type sequence. And the narrator himself, Joe, I like Joe. He's a cool guy. He's 13 years old, and the story is told in like when he's older, but also kind of like when he's 13. So it's told almost in like two perspectives in a way, because every now and then it will come back to like when he's older, and it'll say like, oh, like at that point, like when I was older and when I had a job and had money, like I realized this, blah blah blah, and he would give his input when he was older. But a lot of the story is like, it almost seems as though like he's trying to figure stuff out, and as a reader, you're also trying to figure stuff out alongside Joe. I think that's the reason why this book is written in that way. Because things that were once invisible, because like we don't know how the land works here, or why it works the way it is, or even the culture. And so we are coming to like a maturity within the knowledge of the Native American tribal laws through reading this book and through adventuring with like Joe, going through like his life with him. And so one of the things is, things that were once invisible to Joe are no longer invisible. So now we've talked about invisibility, people being invisible, but now let's talk about America, this Native American section, the tribal regulations and the tribal people, how that whole clump is invisible. And one of the things is that Joe is realizing like he's coming to terms with this when simply by asking questions. That's like one of the most basic things that he does. And one example of this is when Joe asks his dad why he's a judge, why he continues to do that, and basically because his dad replies something as simple as like, I'm preparing for the future. Like if I do this now, like we hope that in the future, like we will be able to have more power and stuff to be able to like solve cases that occurred and try like all types of people. And then I'm gonna go quick here. When Joe would not leave, and he had Sonja dance in front of him along with the Moonshunum. And then when Joe asked what Angus was to him, which they said was about a quarter cousin. So this was stuff all that was invisible to Joe. And so like again, this comes back to invisibility relating to the events that are occurring right in front of you. And so like Invisible America, Joe is realizing the underlying secrets of the life that is in front of them. And so here's some key people that I thought is that, was Sonja invisible? Was Zelia, or the person that Cappy, the girl that he loved, was she invisible? Was Father Travis invisible? All the answers are yes. Each and every single one of them was invisible. And so continuing on, Joe was on a quest. He's been on this quest, and the area that he's in. So the quest is the area that he is in composed that he is in is composed by a mingling of different stories coming together. An example of this was Linda was once invisible. Linda was she was deemed as so ugly that she's cute, as a young girl. But then, like, she was once invisible, but then Joe realized more about her, and he took genuine interest in her, and she actually, like, became a person to him. And for me, this is going a little bit longer, but I think this is a big thing. Coming to awareness in high school that people actually had lives outside of high school or like in middle school or something, that was a really big, like, point. Is that people sometimes, like, they had to deal with stuff at home, and, like, for me, I made this friend who they just went through some dark times, and, like, we would text and stuff, and they would tell me, like, everything that would happen throughout their day, and they actually had some suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And so it was almost like, a coming of age to me, and I realized, like, hey, just because people appear this way in school doesn't mean that their life is always, like that. Or, people do not appear, like, happy and go lucky in school, like the reason behind that or something. And so, yeah, that's about this week. There was a lot that I went through, and so maybe next week I'll kind of sort it out and, like, divide it up and see what's going on there, because there's a lot of good stuff here. But all right, that's all. Bye.